filled with tears. Kai and Tan Songyun escort Yu Menglong to his final resting place. The air was heavy with sorrow, the kind of silence that weighed on the chest and made every breath feel like a burden. On this day, the dazzling lights of the entertainment world dimmed into shadows as Kai and Tan Songyun, with faces carved by grief, walked side by side to escort their beloved friend and colleague Yu Menglong to his final resting place. The sight was heartbreaking, not just for those who knew him closely, but for the millions of fans across the world who had followed his journey, admired his artistry, and felt his warmth through every role he played and every smile he shared. From the very moment the news of Yu Menglong's passing broke, disbelief and anguish swept like wildfire through the entertainment industry and across social media platforms. His youthful energy, his gentle voice, and his kindness had made him one of the most cherished stars of his generation. Yet, on this somber day, all that remained was a haunting absence, an emptiness that Kai and Tan Songyun struggled to bear as they stood at the heart of a gathering shrouded in grief. Kai, known for his usually composed and charismatic presence, could not mask the pain etched across his face. Every step he took seemed heavier than the last as he walked alongside Tan Songyun, who clutched tightly to the white flowers in her hands. Her eyes were swollen from days of crying, her fragile figure trembling with each tear that spilled freely down her cheeks. Together, they seemed to embody the collective grief of an entire industry, two stars dimmed by loss, but determined to honor their friend with strength. The funeral hall was adorned with white lilies, chrysanthemums, and roses, their fragrance mixing with the salt of tears in the air. In the center, a large framed photograph of Yu Menglong smiled down upon the mourners, his eyes sparkling with that familiar warmth that had once lit up screens and stages. Fans had gathered outside in overwhelming numbers, many carrying candles and handwritten notes, their voices trembling as they whispered farewells to their idol. Some knelt, others clasped their hands in prayer, while countless more sobbed uncontrollably, unable to accept that someone so vibrant could be gone so soon. Inside, the atmosphere was even more piercing. Every corner carried memories of laughter shared, of late-night rehearsals, of dreams built together. Kai and Tan Songyun sat at the front row, shoulders occasionally brushing against each other, as though silently offering comfort in their shared grief. At times, Kai reached for a tissue to quietly hand it to Tan Songyun, his own tears threatening to spill, though he tried to keep composure for her sake. But even he, strong as he was, broke down when the first notes of the farewell music filled the air. The moment the casket was wheeled in, silence fell so profound that one could hear hearts breaking. Kai bowed deeply, his hands trembling as he placed his white flower on top. He lingered there longer than expected, his lips moving in a whisper that only he and Yu Menglong could ever know. Tan Songyun followed, her hands quivering as she laid her flower gently and then pressed her palms together, her tears dripping onto the polished surface of the coffin. The words spoken during the ceremony painted a portrait of Yu Menglong that was both beautiful and bittersweet. Colleagues recalled his unwavering kindness, his endless patience, and his rare ability to make everyone feel seen and valued. Fans shared stories of how his performances had touched their lives, helping them through dark times, giving them hope and making them smile. Every testimony only deepened the ache in the hearts of Kai and Tan Songyun, who knew firsthand just how much love and light Yu Menglong had carried within him. As the procession moved from the hall to the burial site, the sky seemed to mirror the mourners' grief. The clouds darkened, a fine drizzle falling like heaven's tears. Umbrellas bloomed in black and gray, but Kai and Tan Songyun walked without one, the raindrops mixing with their tears as though the world itself mourned alongside them. They walked directly behind the casket, their steps slow, steady, and reverent. Every movement was a vow, every glance downward a promise never to forget. At the graveside, the finality of the moment hit harder than anyone had prepared for. The sound of soil hitting the coffin echoed like thunder in the hearts of those gathered. Su Kai's hands clenched into fists, his jaw tightening as he struggled not to collapse under the weight of despair. Tan Songyun, unable to contain her grief any longer, leaned slightly against him, her quiet sobs filling the silence between the priest's words. Su Kai gently wrapped an arm around her shoulder, holding her as though protecting her from the brutal reality of the moment, even while his own heart shattered. The farewell speeches that followed left no eye dry. Su Kai, voice hoarse and breaking, stepped forward to speak. He began with trembling words, recalling the first day he met Yu Menglong, the laughter they shared on set, and the countless times Yu Menglong had been a source of strength and encouragement for him. His words cracked often, his pauses heavy with tears, but his message was clear. Yu Menglong had been more than a friend. He had been family, a brother, a soul who left behind an irreplaceable void. Tan Songyun followed, her voice soft yet filled with raw emotion. She spoke of the joy Yu Menglong had brought into her life, the times he had comforted her during difficult days, and how his unwavering belief in kindness had inspired her both on and off screen. At one point, her sobs drowned her words, and Su Kai gently held her hand, helping her steady herself to finish. The crowd wept with her, sharing in the unbearable pain of saying goodbye. When the last handful of soil was placed, and the grave was covered, a silence so deep settled over the crowd that even the birds seemed to hold their song. Su Kai and Tan Songyun stood motionless for a long time, staring at the fresh mound of earth, as though hoping Yu Menglong might suddenly reappear, smiling once more. But reality was cruel, and all they could do was bow one final time, whispering their last farewell before turning away with heavy hearts. The walk back was no less painful. Fans reached out to Su Kai and Tan Songyun, some crying into their hands, others shouting words of comfort. Su Kai managed faint nods, though his eyes remained closed with grief. Tan Songyun, unable to hide her heartbreak, clutched at the sleeve of her companion, seeking stability in a storm of emotions that threatened to overwhelm her. They had been strong for Yu Menglong, strong for each other, and strong for the world, but their pain was undeniable, and the image of them walking hand in hand, faces streaked with tears, will forever remain etched in the memories of those who witnessed it. As night fell, candles lit the cemetery in a soft golden glow, fans refusing to leave, singing softly in memory of their beloved star. Su Kai and Tan Songyun stayed until the very end, sitting quietly under the dim light, speaking little but sharing in the silence of loss. When they finally rose to leave, Su Kai placed his hand over Yu Menglong's grave, whispering something before walking away with Tan Songyun by his side. Though Yu Menglong may have been lost, his legacy continues to live on in the hearts of those who loved him. The grief that Su Kai and Tan Songyun displayed so openly has only strengthened the bond between fans and the stars, showing the world that behind the glitter and fame are souls capable of deep love and deep pain. The final farewell may have been filled with tears, but it was also filled with gratitude for the time shared, for the memories created, and for the light that Yu Menglong will forever shine from beyond. The story of this day will be retold countless times, each detail etched into the tapestry of memory, reminding everyone that though life may be fleeting, love and friendship endure. Su Kai and Tan Songyun's devotion in escorting Yu Menglong to his final resting place was more than an act of farewell. It was a testament of loyalty, of love, and of the kind of bond that death itself cannot offer. And as the stars glittered faintly above the somber night, one could not help but believe that somewhere beyond, Yu Menglong was smiling still, grateful for the love that carried him home. Even after the final farewell, the waves of grief did not subside. Days passed, but the memory of that heart-shattering ceremony continued to linger in the minds of millions who had witnessed it either in person or through live streams shared across every corner of social media. Songyun's tearful expressions, their trembling hands as they laid Long's coffin, and their silent walk behind the casket became viral images, etched into the hearts of fans who could not let go of their beloved star. The continuation of the story unfolded quietly, not in dazzling headlines or press releases, but in the silent gestures of those who had lost a friend, a brother, and an inspiration. Su Kai, usually so composed, was spotted days later visiting the cemetery again. Dressed in plain black, a cap pulled low over his eyes, he knelt by Yu Menglong's grave with no entourage, no cameras, just the quiet presence of someone unwilling to accept goodbye. Witnesses whispered that he sat there for hours, his lips moving as though in conversation with a friend who was no longer physically there. Tan Songyun, too, carried her grief in silence. She posted nothing flashy or dramatic on social media, only a single photo of a candle burning in the dark, accompanied by the words, "For you, always." Fans flooded the comment section with messages of comfort, their collective mourning creating a digital shrine for Yu Menglong's memory. Many wrote about how they had found strength in his roles, how his smile had healed their loneliness, and how his absence left a gap no one could fill. The entertainment industry also responded in ways that reflected the deep respect Yu Mang Long had earned. Directors, co-stars, and producers came forward with heartfelt tributes, recalling his humility, his tireless work ethic, and his kindness even in the toughest of times. There was talk of establishing an award in his honor, something to ensure that his name would forever inspire future generations of actors and dreamers. But for Su Kai and Tan Songyun, the loss was far more personal. Friends close to them revealed that they had promised to look after one another in Yu Menglong's memory, keeping his spirit alive through the love and strength they shared. Their friendship, already admired by fans, became a beacon of resilience. In every public appearance after the funeral, their bond appeared stronger, their smiles softer, but filled with the unspoken truth that they were leaning on each other to survive the pain. The fans, moved by their courage, found their own strength in unity. Thousands gathered in online fan communities, creating digital memorials filled with art, poems, and edited videos celebrating Yu Menglong's most iconic moments on screen. A candlelight vigil streamed live, with fans across continents lighting candles simultaneously in his honor. The world seemed smaller, bound together by grief, but also bound by love. Su Kai, during one interview weeks later, finally spoke about the loss. His voice was steady, though his eyes glistened. Mang Long was more than a colleague to me, he was a brother. Someone who stood by me when I was at my lowest. I will carry his kindness with me for the rest of my life. His words echoed everywhere, replayed countless times by fans who drew strength from his honesty. Tan Songyun, when asked about her closest memory of Yu Mang Long, smiled sadly through her tears. He never let anyone feel alone. That was who he was, always lifting others up. That's what I'll always remember. The continuation of their journey after the funeral became a story, not just of mourning but of resilience, of holding on to light even when the darkness threatened to overwhelm. It became a reminder that though Yu Mang Long was no longer present, his spirit lived on in the love of his friends, the loyalty of his fans, and the legacy of his art. And this is where you, the fans, the audience, and the community come in. At K Romance Central, our mission is not just to report these stories, but to keep them alive, to honor the stars who bring joy into our lives, to celebrate the friendships and bonds that make them human, and to share the moments that move us to tears and laughter. Stories like Su Kai and Tan Songyun's farewell to Yu Mang Long are more than headlines. They are legacies of love, friendship, and the fleeting beauty of life. By subscribing to K Romance Central, you become part of a family that cherishes every heartfelt moment in the world of drama and entertainment. You will be the first to uncover exclusive behind-the-scenes stories, touching tributes, and emotional journeys that go beyond the screen. Together, we can celebrate the stars who inspire us, remember those we've lost, and share in the powerful emotions that connect us all. So if you were moved by this heartbreaking yet beautiful farewell, if you felt the tears of Kai and Tan Songyun deep in your heart, and if you want to continue walking this journey with us, don't just read and move on. Hit that subscribe button on K Romance Central, join our community, and let's keep these stories alive together. The story of Kai, Tan Songyun, and Yu Menglong is not just theirs, it's ours too. It's the story of love, of loyalty, of remembering those who shaped our lives. And as long as we continue to share it, Yu Menglong will never truly be gone. So join us. Let's celebrate life, love, and the stars who remind us every day of the beauty in this world. Subscribe now to K Romance Central, where every tear, every smile, and every unforgettable moment finds a home. Because sometimes, the most powerful stories are the ones filled with tears.